This ending changes everything. And if you think you understood it on the first watch, there's a very good chance you missed what really matters. The final moments weren't just emotional, they were carefully built to hide a deeper truth about the characters and what's coming next. One choice, one look, and one quiet moment just shifted the entire direction of the story in a way that most people won't notice right away. The episode builds slowly, but every scene is quietly pushing us toward that final moment. At first, it feels like the story is focusing on survival and the immediate danger around the characters. There's tension in every interaction, and you can feel that something is about to break. The conversations are not just random, they carry weight, especially the ones where characters hesitate before speaking or choose to stay silent. Those pauses are important because they show inner conflict, something much deeper than what is being said out loud. As we move closer to the ending, the emotional pressure increases. The characters are no longer just reacting to events, they are making choices that will have lasting consequences. One of the key things to notice is how their expressions change. Even without dramatic dialogue, you can see fear, doubt, and even regret building up. This is where the episode becomes less about action and more about emotional truth. The writers are clearly showing that the biggest battles are not always physical. They happen inside the characters themselves. Then comes the final sequence, and everything suddenly feels quieter. This is not a loud or explosive ending, but that's exactly what makes it powerful. The silence, the slow pacing, and the way the camera lingers on certain moments all tell us that this is something important. A decision is made here, but it's not presented in a clear or obvious way. Instead, it's hidden in small actions where someone stands, what they choose to look at, and what they choose to ignore. These details matter more than any spoken words. One of the most interesting parts of this ending is how it leaves space for interpretation. It doesn't give you a clear answer, and that can feel frustrating at first. But that's actually the point. The story wants you to think, too. Question what you just saw, and to go back and notice the details you might have missed. For example, a simple glance between two characters might seem small, but it actually reveals a shift in trust. A quiet moment alone might seem like a pause, but it could represent a major internal decision. There is also a strong sense that something has ended, even if it's not obvious. It could be a relationship, a belief, or even a sense of safety that the characters once had. That feeling of loss is subtle, but it's there. And at the same time, there's also the beginning of something new. The ending is not just closing one chapter, it's opening another, one that may be darker and more uncertain. What makes this ending stand out is how real it feels. Instead of giving a perfect or clean resolution, it reflects how difficult choices actually work in real life. People don't always say what they feel. They don't always make the right decision. And sometimes, the most important moments are the ones that happen in silence. This episode captures that perfectly, using small details to tell a much bigger story. By the time the episode ends, you're left with more questions than answers. And that's exactly what makes it powerful. It pulls you deeper into the story, making you want to understand what these choices really mean and what they will lead to next. As the story moves forward, the ending begins to reveal deeper meaning through small but powerful details that are easy to miss on a first watch. What looks simple on the surface is actually filled with hidden signals about what the characters are truly feeling. The most important thing here is not what is said out loud, but what is left unsaid. Silence becomes a key part of the storytelling, and every pause carries weight. When a character chooses not to speak, it often says more than any line of dialogue could. One major detail in this ending is the way characters react to each other. Without direct confrontation, instead of open conflict, we see distance growing between them. This distance is not just physical, but emotional. A character who once trusted someone fully now hesitates, and that hesitation changes everything. Even a slight delay in response or a shift in body language can show that something has broken. Beneath the surface, these small changes are not random. They are carefully placed to show that relationships are evolving, and not always in a good way. Another layer of meaning comes from the idea of choice. The ending makes it clear that a decision has been made, but it doesn't explain it directly. Instead, it leaves clues. The way a character looks at a certain place, or the way they turn away from someone, suggests that they have already decided their path. This is important because it shows that the story is moving into a new phase. The characters are no longer just reacting to events, they are shaping their own future, even if that future is uncertain or dangerous. There is also a strong theme of sacrifice in this ending. Someone is giving something up, but it's not clearly stated what that is. It could be love, trust, safety, or even their own happiness. The emotional weight of this sacrifice is felt through the tone of the scene, the slower pace, the quiet atmosphere, and the focus on expressions all work together to show that this moment matters deeply. It's not just about what is happening now, but about what it will cost later. Symbolism also plays a key role here. Certain objects or settings in the scene may seem normal, but they carry deeper meaning. For example, a place that once felt safe might now feel tense, showing how much has changed. A simple action, like turning away or stepping back, can represent a much bigger emotional shift. These symbols are not explained directly, but they add depth to the story for viewers who are paying close attention. The ending also connects strongly to earlier parts of the episode and even past episodes. Moments that seemed small before now feel important. A line of dialogue from earlier might now have a different meaning, or a past decision might now show its true impact. This creates a sense that everything is connected, and nothing in the story is wasted. It rewards viewers who have been paying attention and makes the story feel more complete. What makes this section of the ending so powerful is that it trusts the audience to understand without being told directly. It doesn't explain everything in a clear or simple way. Instead, it gives pieces of the truth and allows the viewer to put them together. This makes the experience more engaging because it feels like you are discovering the meaning yourself rather than being given the answer. By the time this part of the ending is over, it becomes clear that the story has shifted in a major way. The characters are no longer in the same place emotionally, and the choices made here will have long-lasting effects. Even though nothing extremely dramatic may have happened on the surface, the internal changes are huge. This is the kind of storytelling that stays with you because it feels real and meaningful, even in its quietest moments. The impact of the ending becomes even clearer when you look at how it changes the characters from the inside. What happens in those final moments is not just about the situation they are in, but about who they are becoming. You can see a clear shift in their mindset, especially in the way they carry themselves after everything unfolds. A character who once seemed strong and certain now shows signs of doubt, while another who appeared unsure earlier now feels more firm in their actions. This quiet transformation is one of the most important parts of the ending. One of the key changes is in how trust is handled. Trust that once felt natural now feels fragile. The ending suggests that something has been damaged, and even if it is not fully broken, it will never be the same again. This creates tension going forward, because once trust is shaken, every future decision becomes harder. Characters may start to question each other more, and even simple conversations can carry hidden tension. This shift adds a new layer to their relationships, making everything more complex. At the same time, there is a strong sense of emotional weight that stays with the characters. The ending is not something they can easily move on from. It lingers, affecting the way they think and act. You can see it in their silence, in the way they avoid certain topics, or in how they look at each other. These small details show that the moment has left a mark. It's not just a one-time event, it's something that will continue to shape their choices. In the episodes ahead, Another important aspect is the idea of inner conflict. Even when a character makes a clear decision, it doesn't mean they are at peace with it. In fact, the ending shows the opposite. There is a feeling that the choice came with a cost, and that cost is still being felt. A character might stand by their decision, but deep down, there may be regret or fear. This kind of conflict makes the story more real, because it shows that decisions are not always simple or clean. Relationships are also deeply affected. Bonds that once felt strong now feel uncertain. There may not be an open argument or dramatic breakup, but the distance is there. It can be seen in how characters interact less openly, or how they hold back their true feelings. This kind of quiet tension can be even more powerful than a loud confrontation, because it builds slowly and keeps growing over time. The ending also sets up a clear direction for what might happen next.